As debate swirls around whether the United States is going to get involved in this conflict, it needs to be remembered that the Israelis are perfectly capable of handling this without United States assistance other than Ordnance. That's it. They have every capability of destroying these bunkers short of the massive Ordnance Penetrator, which we could give them. How, you say? Could Israeli C-130s drop GBU-57 massive Ordnance Penetrator bunker busters? B-2s are the only aircraft that can employ MOPS to get at Iran's deepest facilities, but C-130s may be a viable option with a similar weapon. Some of us have very long memories, and I know for a fact that we dropped bombs from Hercules aircraft half the size of the massive Ordnance Penetrator at 15,000 pounds from the back of C-130 Hercules aircraft. We did this in Vietnam, and I'm going to show you the video here in just a moment. A major unknown we've been discussing for many years is how Israel would go about fully destroying Iran's nuclear capabilities, not just degrading them. Without having the ability to penetrate deeply buried sites from the air, the nuclear enrichment facility, the sites under the mountain Fordo in particular. Without the help of U.S. B-2 Spirits carrying GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators, a ground operation seemed like nearly the only option. But what about Israel's humble fleet of roughly 15 KC-130H, C-130H, and C-130J Hercules transports? Bombs from the back of a transport. Now, there's more news on that part too, by the way. But this is from the show Brute Force, The History of Weapons at War. And this is Gerald McRaney discussing the GBU-82 Daisy Cutter bomb dropped from the back of a C-130 transport in Vietnam.
But it was one unique conventional bomb that was the climax of high explosives in Vietnam. Called Big Blue 82, it was a blockbuster that caused injuries for miles. At 15,000 pounds, a single bomb was the entire cargo for the journey into hostile airspace. Delivered from the hold of a C-130 cargo plane, the bomb was slowed by a parachute and drifted to its target. When it exploded, the crater was enormous and the destruction total. It remains the single largest conventional bomb dropped on enemy forces.
And now with a parade of C-130s flying in the air and precision guidance, you could drop repeated massive ordnance penetrators on the target you needed from the back of cargo aircraft. They claim to have complete air superiority. There's videos of Israeli tanker aircraft fueling Israeli fighters in Iran over their airspace. That is air superiority. So if that's the case, there's no reason why we wouldn't be able to give them a couple of them and let them do it themselves. Because the only other speculation, and you're starting to hear it now, is that a tactical nuclear device would be needed. Well, if that's the road that's going to be gone down, let them do that too. They have them. Nuclear, they are a nuclear power. They don't want to admit it. But Israel is a nuclear power with well over a couple hundred nuclear warheads and the missiles to deliver them. For those of you who didn't know that, and I'm sure you did, but it deserves to be said again, because now you're hearing that, well, the U.S. may have to use a tactical... No. Out of the question. Out of the question. It should be out of the question that we're even considering bombing them. Israel started it. They're not babies. They can handle themselves. They can also take care of this bunker. Maybe they just need to drop a bunch of these from cargo aircraft. If they can't do that, if they do have air superiority, there's no reason for them to not put an airborne team on the ground and take it from the ground. And if they desire to use a nuclear weapon, let them to be the ones to do it, not us. This could spiral out of control and has the potential to do so. And these idiots who think this is a game are going to get a bunch of people killed. And I want to avoid Americans getting killed. That's my goal. So, to that end, I'd say maybe transferring a few massive ordnance penetrators to the Israelis isn't a bad idea. But the massive ordnance penetrator is double the size of that 15,000-pound one you said. The Israelis have currently in their air fleet C-130Js that in an aerial delivery mode can airdrop loads up to 42,000 pounds. That leaves 12,000 pounds to spare. There's no reason in the world that we should even be considering this. They can do it themselves. We should not be even thinking about fighting a war for another country. This is outrageous. I'm very disappointed in the president that he'd be suckered in by these people to even consider this. I hope this is just a show of strength, and that's it. Israel can take care of this on their own. They can drop these. We can sell them to them. Who are we kidding? We can give them to them. They can put them on the backs in the back of their C-130J Hercules transports. Drop them by a parachute. And take care of it themselves. And with precision guidance, there's no reason that more massive ordnance penetrator, you couldn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, almost down the same hole. No reason at all. And the parachute would just break away once it's leveled off at a stable level flight, and then it would just guide itself in there at gravity free fall speed, which is what it would be falling from a B-2 Spirit. Or if it's that important, put units on the ground. You have air superiority. There's no reason you wouldn't be able to tactically support that group on the ground and keep them safe until extraction. Everything they are saying themselves is saying to me that we don't need to be there. Everything. And yet, we're being asked to do so. No. I still say no. I still say no. They can take care of it themselves. They have the means, the ability, and in the end, they're the ones who started bombing. That's all I got. If you like the video, like it, subscribe, share with a friend, let them know. The Israelis can do this all by themselves. They don't need us other than to provide the bullet. They'll fire the rifle. They can do it themselves. That's a different story. Thank you. I appreciate you.